If you're a soccer-loving Australian, chances are you visited Perth's Optus Stadium. Stunning, right? But what if I told you that this world-class arena stands on what was once a contaminated wasteland? Hard to believe, but it's true. And today we're going to be taking a look at how world-class innovation turned this dumping ground into one of the best stadiums in the world. The shocking backstory of the stadium. To truly understand how magnificent this stadium is, we'll need to take a trip to the very beginning. Burswood Peninsula, now home to the glitzy Optus Stadium, was once a dumping ground for all sorts of nasty stuff. We're talking asbestos waste, industrial junk, and even old car bodies. Not exactly the foundation you'd want for a billion-dollar stadium, right? But wait, it gets better. This site wasn't just any old landfill, it was a cocktail of containments. Tests conducted back in 2008 revealed a toxic mix of cinder ash, biosolids, and acid sulfate in the soil. So naturally, it's surprising that someone thought, hey, let's build a stadium right here. Makes you wonder about the decision-making process, doesn't it? Now, dealing with this mess wasn't as simple as covering it up and calling it a day. The construction team had to tackle some serious environmental challenges. There were fears that disturbing the soil could release toxins into the Swan River and groundwater. Imagine the headlines. Stadium construction poisons river. Not exactly great PR. To prevent an environmental disaster, a comprehensive groundwater risk assessment management strategy was put in place. This plan aimed to monitor and manage the potential spread of contaminants during construction. It was like trying to clean up a spill without making it worse. And let's not forget acid sulfate soils. When exposed to air, these soils can produce sulfuric acid, wreaking havoc on the environment. So the construction team had to be extra cautious not to stir up more trouble. It's like playing Jenga with toxic blocks. One wrong move and everything comes crashing down. Despite these challenges, though, the project forged ahead. The government assured everyone that the site had undergone extensive geotechnical investigations and was deemed suitable for development. Still, some couldn't shake the feeling that building a stadium on a former toxic dump was a disaster waiting to happen. But here we are today with Optus Stadium standing tall and proud. It's a testament to human ingenuity, or perhaps stubbornness, that managed to transform a contaminated wasteland into a world-class sports venue. Just goes to show that with enough determination and money, you can build anything anywhere. Why build it in the first place? Now you might be scratching your head wondering, why on earth did Perth need a new stadium? Well, that's a fair question. The old Subiaco Oval had been around since 1908 and definitely saw better days. With a capacity of 43,000, it was the biggest stadium in Western Australia, but starting to show its age. Fans often complained about cramped seating, limited amenities, and let's be honest, it did not have that modern sparkle. Plus, as the home for the West Coast Eagles and the Fremantle Dockers, the demand for tickets often outstripped supply. People got packed in like sardines, and the overall experience left much to be desired. Hence the idea of a brand new state-of-the-art stadium. The vision was to create a multi-purpose venue that could host not just AFL games, but cricket matches, concerts, and other major events. A place that would put Perth on the map and attract international attention. Sounds great on paper, right? But here's where things got a bit murky, because as I mentioned before, instead of choosing a clean, ready-to-go site, the powers that be decided to build this shiny new stadium right on top of a contaminated area needing a massive cleanup. But why? Well, the Burswood Peninsula offered a picturesque location along the Swan River and was close to city center. It had the potential to become a vibrant entertainment precinct, but was it worth the environmental and financial headaches? Some argued that redeveloping Subiaco Oval would have been a more sensible choice. Plans were even drawn up for a world-class 60,000-seat stadium with state-of-the-art facilities. This proposal would have allowed for urban revitalization in Subiaco, sinking the railway line and developing the land on top. That's a win-win, right? But the government had other ideas. They believed that starting fresh on the Burswood site would create a blank canvas to create something truly iconic. Plus, they argued that the location offered better transport options and room for future expansion. So despite the challenges, they pressed on with the Burswood plan. In the end, the decision to build Optus Stadium at Burswood was a bold one, involving significant risk, environmentally and financially. But the result is a modern, world-class venue revitalizing the area and giving a new home for sports and entertainment in Perth. Whether that was the right choice is still up for debate, but there's no denying that Optus Stadium has brought new life to the area. The funding fiasco. But of course, building a world-class stadium from scratch does not come cheap, and the Optus Stadium was no exception. Originally, those in charge tossed around numbers like $700 million for the stadium itself and an extra $300 million for transport upgrades. Well, hold on to your wallets because things didn't go exactly as planned. As the project chugged along, costs started creeping up, and by 2015, the total estimate had ballooned to a staggering $1.5 billion. This figure included $1.2 billion for the stadium's design, construction, financing, and maintenance, and then an additional $359 million for transport infrastructure. But wait, there's more. In 2018, it was revealed that the total cost had soared to at least $1.8 billion, nearly double the original budget. Now you might be wondering, where did all that extra cash come from? Good question. Despite initial hopes that the federal government and Australian Football League, AFL for short, would be chipping in, neither opened their wallets, so the whole financial burden fell squarely on the shoulders of Western Australian taxpayers. Putting that in perspective, that's $1,500 a household. You heard that right. The funding strategy was a complex web of payments. The government agreed to pay 60% of construction costs during the build and the remaining 40% to be paid over a quarter century as part of a public-private partnership with the West Stadium Consortium. This arrangement means that taxpayers will be shelling out for this state-of-the-art facility for decades to come. Critics were quick to pounce on this financial debacle. The opposition labeled it a huge blowout, accusing the government of grossly underestimating the project's true cost. They argued that the original $700 million figure was a pipe dream and the government had been less than transparent about the escalating expenses. In response, government officials defended the project's cost, claiming that the stadium would be a world-class venue, putting Perth on the map for major events and tourism, arguing that the long-term benefits would outweigh the initial investment. But many taxpayers remained skeptical, wondering if the ends truly justified the means. Now, $1.6 billion is a bunch to spend on a stadium, but how much does it cost to keep the place running smoothly? Well, you better sit down for this one, because the numbers are not small by any means. Just keeping the lights on, the grass green, the toilets flushing at Optus Stadium costs a jaw-dropping $37 million a year. You heard that right. $37 million every single year. That's like buying a brand new luxury mansion every month just to make sure footy fans get their hot chips in perfect turf. So where does all that money go? Well, you got staff wages, cleaning, maintenance, lighting up those giant LEDs, running events, paying water, security, waste management, and probably a couple of overpriced screwdrivers for repairs. And don't forget the massive electric bill. That's what happens when you got a high-tech stadium that runs like a spaceship. What's even crazier is that taxpayers are footing most of the bill. Yeah, even if you've ever been to a game or concert, you're still helping pay to keep this beast alive. So the next time someone tells you stadiums pay for themselves, ask them to show you the receipts, because Optus sure knows how to spend. So here we are, this shiny new stadium that costs an arm and a leg. Whether it becomes the economic boon that was promised or just another expensive ornament remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, the road to Optus was paved with budget overruns and financial headaches. Controversies galore. Now let's wade into the murky waters of controversy surrounding Optus Stadium. Building a massive sports arena is never a straightforward affair, but this project seemed to attract more than its fair share of drama. First up, environmental concerns. Chosen site for the stadium is a location with less than pristine history. Critics question the wisdom of building a public venue on land that might pose health risks. However, the government assured everyone that thorough environmental assessments and remediation efforts had been undertaken to ensure the city's safety. Then there's the cultural aspect. Burswood area holds significant importance for the local indigenous communities with historical ties that run deep. The decision to develop this land into a commercial sports venue was met with resistance from indigenous groups who felt that their heritage was getting sidelined in the name of progress. Despite consultations, many felt that their concerns were not adequately addressed, leading to protests and public outcry. And who could forget the naming rights saga? Initially, the venue was to be called Perth Stadium, a straightforward name that reflected its location. But in a move surprising no one familiar with corporate influence, telecom giant Optus swooped in with a hefty check and secured the naming rights for a decade. The deal, rumored to be worth over $50 million, was touted by the government as a savvy financial move that would provide a substantial return to the state. However, purists and locals lamented the commercialization of a public asset, feeling that the stadium's identity had been sold to the highest bidder. Adding to the list of grievances was the issue of public transport. The stadium's location necessitated significant upgrades to Perth's transport infrastructure to accommodate the influx of event-goers. The government poured hundreds of millions into new train stations and bus services, but skeptics questioned whether these investments would pay off in the long run or simply become underutilized relics when the stadium was not in use. Whether these decisions will stand the test of time or become cautionary tales remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the road to Optus Stadium was anything but smooth. Features and dimensions. Now that you know the backstory of the Optus Stadium and all the drama that came with it, let's explore the features and dimensions of Perth's most famous landmark. You might think it's just another sports venue, but oh boy, are you in for a surprise. This place is a technological marvel and a fan's paradise rolled into one. First things first, let's talk about size. Optus Stadium isn't just big, it's colossal. With a seating capacity of 60,000, it's the third largest stadium in Australia. And here's the kicker: it's designed to be expanded up to 65,000 seats for those mega events that everyone wants a piece of. So whether it's a nail-biting AFL match or a sold-out concert, there's room for everyone. Now you might be thinking, great, another massive stadium where I'll need binoculars to see the action. Well, not exactly. The masterminds behind this architectural wonder have ensured that every single seat offers exceptional views of the field. No more craning your neck or standing on tiptoes. It's like having a VIP pass no matter where you're seated. Moving to the playground itself, the field measures 165 meters in length and 130 meters in width. For those of you keeping score, that's closely aligned with the iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground, which stands at 160 by 141 meters. But here's where it gets interesting. The field has an east-west orientation, mirroring the alignment of both MCG and the now-retired Subiaco Oval. Is this a coincidence? I think not. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: weather. We've all been there, excited for an event only to get drenched by an unexpected downpour. Well, Optus Stadium's got you covered, literally. Over 85% of the seats are under the drip line of the roof, so come rain or shine, you're in for a comfy experience. It's almost as if they care about the fans. Imagine that. But wait, there is more. The stadium isn't just brawn, it's got brains too. Tech-savvy fans rejoice. The entire venue boasts full 4G coverage, ensuring you're always connected. Want to live stream the game to your friends? Go ahead. Need to post the perfect selfie with the game in the background? No problem. And for those who can't bear to miss a second of the action while grabbing a snack, there are over 1,000 TV screens strategically placed throughout the stadium. It's almost like they thought of everything. Now, let's talk about eye candy. The stadium's facade is adorned with a unique bronze exterior that reflects Western Australia's rich geology. But here's the showstopper: state-of-the-art LED lighting that can display the home team's colors. Imagine the whole stadium glowing in unison with the team's hues. That's not just a game, it's a full-blown spectacle. And for those who might be wondering about accessibility, the stadium is fully equipped with facilities to accommodate all fans. From wheelchair-accessible seating to enhanced amenity seats across every level, they have truly rolled out the red carpet for everybody. So there you have it. Optus Stadium isn't just a place to watch a game. It's an experience, a technological wonder, and a testament to what happens when innovation meets passion. Whether you're a diehard sports fan or just in it for the gram, this stadium promises an unforgettable time. So if you've ever been to the Optus Stadium, tell us what you think in the comments below. We're committed to releasing 2 videos a week. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more visionary builds.